Welcome to Mimi's Kitchen. Today I'm going to cook something very different than my usual stuff. I'm cooking meatloaf. Now, by no means this is an authentic meatloaf recipe. I found this recipe from one of my friend. She showed it to me how to do it in 5 minutes, and that's exactly what I'm looking forward to cook and put it in my channel. So there you go. It's a very easy meatloaf recipe, and these are the ingredients. I'm using stuffing mix, chicken, 1 cup of water, 2 eggs, and some barbecue sauce. I had the honey chipotle one in my fridge, and that's the one I'm using. And of course, I need 2 pounds of ground meat. I'm using lean deer meat here because venison is very lean. It doesn't have a lot of fat to it, and that's exactly what I'm looking forward to it. And I'm now adding in 1 packet, which is 6 ounces of the stuffing mix. Then I'm going to add the cup of water. Now for a meatloaf recipe, it's best to use any kind of meat that is on the leaner side, because when the meat contains a lot of fat, it does not come out to that right consistency that we want it in a meatloaf. So that's why I'm using a leaner version of meat, which is deer meat. Okay, then I'm adding 2 eggs that I have beaten up. Mix everything all together, nice and smooth. And lastly, I am going to add 1/4 cup of that barbecue sauce. Now we are just mixing everything up together very gently, and we don't want to mix it too much, otherwise the meatloaf will come out very dry and tough. We do not want that. That's why we are not going to mix it too vigorously. All right, now in a 9 by 13 inch baking sheet or baking pan, I sprayed it with Pam spray. Then I dumped that meat on the pan, and then we will use our hands to give it a shape of a loaf, just like that. Okay, fantastic. Doesn't it look like a loaf of bread? Yes, it does. Okay, so I am preheating the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to finish this up by brushing some of the remaining barbecue sauce that I added into the stuffing mix. So I have another 1/4 cup of the same barbecue sauce, and we'll just brush it all over around the meat. And I have popped the baking sheet into the oven and let it bake for 1 hour. We're going to come back an hour later. Then we'll see how the final product looks like. All right, see you in an hour. 1 hour later, I pulled out the meat from the oven and let it sit on the kitchen counter to cool off for 10 minutes. I should have had a cooling rack on the baking sheet before I had put the meat on it. Because I have not done that, that's what it did is the excess oil and fat that oozed out of the meat while cooking, it kind of burned at the bottom, but I can guarantee you the meat did not burn. It's just the sides looked a little burnt, but it is not burnt. The meat is completely fine. Let me take a piece now. It has been cooling for 10 minutes. Now I am going to cut off a piece. I have a serrated knife that I'm using to cut the meat off. It just slides in perfectly. This is exactly how it should be. So there you go. There you go. The piece is ready and nothing is burnt. In fact, this is exactly how a meatloaf should look like. A little teeny bit of crust on the top, and the meat is soft, nice and moist inside. That's exactly how a classic meatloaf should be. Okay, so now it's time for me to taste it. Let's see. This is so moist, y'all. This is so nice and moist. I absolutely loved it. My husband Ryan, he's standing right here for a plate. Let me serve him a plate and let's see what he has to say. What do you want to serve? All right, so my husband is giving a try to the meatloaf that I just made. What do you think about it, Ryan?
That's like my grandma used to make. Very good.
Thank you so much. That's such a sweet compliment. Thank you. What do you think would go well with meatloaf?
Vegetables steamed. Mashed potatoes maybe.
Okay.
Broccoli definitely. I love some steamed broccoli. Asparagus. Any of that stuff will go good with us.
Okay. Thank you for your tip. Okay, that's a great classic meatloaf recipe which we can bake using 3 or 4 ingredients which we all have it handy at our home. Give it a try and let me know how you have liked it. If you like my recipe, do give it a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. God bless you.